2024. The start of the year was pretty good. I didn't do too much, but I did go a bit silly towards the end of the year. But I did get my Grail pen, which is this Pelikan Glocko Carbon art collection pen. It's an M600, I think it is. It is absolutely, oh, there we go, do it that way and you'll see it better. Stunning pen. Like, there is just so much depth to this pen. I got it with a medium nib, and it is a beautiful nib to write with. It's a smaller pen, but I don't mind that. My hands aren't huge, so it is a little bit heavier, but I don't, again, I've got quite a few heavy pens, so I'm not fussed by that. I actually prefer the weight in the pen. It does post, but I don't post my pens except the really little ones, so this one is a Grail pen, and I know it's a Grail pen, so yeah, just can't get past that beauty of it. And again, it's not doing it justice. Another pen I got a bit of FOMO for, but I'm so glad I have it, is the Benu Goulet Pens exclusive Earl Grey tea. It is just so much fun and so different from everything else I have. I like the little blue flakes in there, the gold, and then the tea leaves. It did come with a fine nib, but I didn't really like that on this pen. I felt like this big pen needs kind of a big nib, so I found a broad Schmidt nib, and it is fantastic in this pen. Absolutely love it in this pen. So yeah, just fun all around. I joined the Kickstarter to help get a Enzo Bolt in the titanium. I really like this pen. It is a little light, but it feels really good. Just ignore this screw bit you'll see in a bit. I got it with, now I actually got it with two nibs. Currently it has the medium nib in it, but I also have the extra fine because I couldn't decide on what size I wanted, so I was like, I'll get both. It's a great pen. It's so sleek, it's easy to use, you just pick it up and go, you don't have to worry about it. It's a bit like my Y Studio one without the dangly bit. I'm glad I got it. Really glad I got it. Then I went back to Just Turnings again and saw he had some more pens. And I fell in love with this Brooks Blank's Warm Tones Primary Manipulation. I actually call this my Lion King pen because there's a little lion just there. I really like it. So that being said, I did also change out the nib. It has a lemon long knife nib in it, which kind of makes me think of like cat claws. It works really well in this pen, and I do have it currently inked up. Absolutely like it. I like the feel. This one's a bit different of a feel, which is a little bit odd. I don't know how to explain it, but yeah, it just feels a bit different to all my other turned pens. So, yeah. Then we started getting into my basically I found AliExpress is probably the easiest way to explain it. And I saw this Duke pen. Mainly I saw it because I watched a video of a person drawing with it and the crazy bent nib on it. It is a really juicy writer. It is so much fun to play around with, but you really do have to play around with it. Very inexpensive pen, comfy enough, aesthetically nice enough looking, but the main reason I got it was for that nib and just to draw. At the same time, I got my first Hongdian in, which one's this one? This one's the Black Forest. And originally I got it with another little long blade knife nib, but I've currently got a fine nib in it, which is lovely as well. These Hongdian nibs are actually pleasantly surprising on how well they write. And this is a great little pen too. It's got that same matte finish as the Kavekos. With this one just has engravings to make it grippier there if you want to use it there. But a great little starter pen. It's got some substance to it as well. So this is kind of the pen I thought that MD Paper Products pen should have been priced at, because this has got quality behind it. Another Hongdian. This is the 525, I think it is. Yeah, it says it there. It's just such an easy pen. It does have this slidey section here, which has kind of been scuffed a bit, which is okay, but yeah, I've got a medium nib on it. This one I really like for the price. It is so inexpensive, yet there is so much quality behind this pen. Like there's a weight, there's substance to it. The nib writes so well. If anything, this is one that I would be like, go get this pen. Comes in a bunch of colors. Yeah. I was boring and apparently got brown, which I actually really like. So, still on the Hongdian train, we got the Year of the Rabbit pen. I think it's the N23. But these bunnies, I could not go past these bunnies. This is like etched into the finish. So pretty. There is a little bit of a like bend to this pen. I don't know why. It just doesn't seem to want to sit straight, but I still love it. And this nib, this is a medium blade nib, so it's kind of like a double broad almost with a little bunny on it. So cute. Absolutely gorgeous. And it kind of sat with me because I am Year of the Bunny too. So, bunnies. This pen surprised me. I ordered it but didn't really expect it to be this pretty. It is a very, very pretty acrylic or resin. I don't know which way you would say. This is the Hongdian N9. Also, I think the group comes as Sea of Clouds. It actually came with that lemon nib that's on my Lion King pen, but I've switched them out, and this has got a Kaigelu, also long blade nib, but just not as big. It writes so well. So pretty, this pen. Yeah, Sea of Clouds. Really nice. I decided to try another Benu. This wasn't originally the one I ordered. I ordered like the purple one that's fluorescent, but they messaged me saying they didn't have it and if it was okay if they could just send the luminous one. And I was like, yeah, sure, that's fine. And I actually quite like this one. It's actually a really pretty pen. I don't really get it like glowing in the dark that often, but I like the fact that it's got the silver flakes in it, whereas my Benu has the gold flakes. This is a smaller pen. It's quite easy to write with, but I have changed out. I put a Jinhao bent nib on it, and gosh, that is fun. So much fun in this pen. Just, you write with it, you can do like drawings, characters. It just makes it a bit more special than just the standard Schmidt nib. Just look at all those little diamond finishings. Pretty, very pretty pen. So I've been looking at Sailor pens for a while, but I hadn't found the one I really wanted. But I kept coming back to this little guy. And this is the Sailor, I think it's from the Four Seasons or something like that. But it's great. I've seen it as Grateful Crane. I've also seen it as Weaving Crane, but basically it's a crane. It is so pretty. There's a little bit, I don't know if you're going to see it, there's like a little bit of sparkle in here. But otherwise it's just a really nice light blue. This nib is fantastic. I was a little bit unsure of it at the start, but now I really like it. I think that was just experiencing a Japanese fine or medium fine nib for the first time. Great little pen. I do find it is a little bit small. It's a bit like those Quebecers, so this one I do post sometimes. Not all the time though. This pen was a surprise as well, also a little bit of an annoyance in the fact that it's the same acrylic as my way more expensive TWSBI Kai. So this costs, I could have probably got 4 of these, maybe even 5 of these pens for the price I paid for that other one. It's such a simple design, simple clip, nothing to write home about. This has now got the medium Schmidt nib from my Y Studios, because I do actually really enjoy this nib, just not in that pen. So it's now in this one, and I love it in this pen. And again, This pen is so inexpensive. This is a great starter pen. Like if you're going to start, there's not really anything on here that could go wrong so much. Yeah. So another kind of, this one's a Grail-ish pen. I was looking at when they released the Platinum Century 3776 in the chai latte. I really wanted that pen. But then I started listening to some reviews and people were going, oh, it feels really light, feels really cheap for the price point. And I was a bit disheartened about it. But I had been on a website that was selling Platinums and I had been looking at this other pen for ages and kind of thinking about it. And then eventually when the chai latte one didn't really pan out, I was like, you know what? I'm going to get it. The Platinum Century 3776 in King Su. I love this pen. It is so unique because it's all like, I wouldn't call it engraved, but it looks like it's engraved because it's like inlaid into the pen. So vibrant, yet so, yeah, absolutely am 100% glad I got this pen instead of the other one. 14K nib, joy to write with. I don't mind it being kind of hard. It makes it easier to write. Yeah, I absolutely love this pen. And this is probably the only Platinum pen I need in my life. Really, really enjoy it. I thought I'd try some Jinhaos. I'd seen the Le Bon Rosa pen and I was like, oh, that's a pretty acrylic, but I don't know if I really need that pen. And then I saw that Jinhao did one very similar that they just called Green. And I'm glad I got this one. It's very pretty, but I don't really need the other one. I'm not really, this is very girly or light for me. I do like it matched with like these two pens together. I really like them. They kind of hang out together. Yeah, the Jinhao Century 100. Now it came with a fine nib, but I've put the 1.1 stub on it currently, just for something different. Rather than just having lots of fines, let's mix it up a bit, people. I love it. It's a great little pen in the sense of the price point, giving it a try to see if you like it, and the fact that you can change out the nibs. This one I think I just threw in the cart and didn't really think about it. This is the Hongdian N1, I think it is. There is also a N1S, which means it's a piston filler. This one's just a cartridge filler. Yeah, I think you can get it in a light blue as well, but I got it in this yellow, which I kind of call egg yolk. It probably does have an actual name for it. I don't know if I've got it written down. Tianhan? I don't know. Anyway. It comes with a beautiful extra fine nib though. I will say this nib is fantastic. And it's got like a little tower on it. Temple or something. I don't know. Really like it. Again, another inexpensive pen, but still has a moderate amount of quality. Yeah. Then I tried this Lorelei piston filler. It's just got purple ends on it. Not much to say about this one. The nib is beautiful. I will say whatever brand of nibs this is, they are quite nice to write with. And there's no real like cap bit in here, so it doesn't get as dirty as like the TWSBI ones. And actually an interesting feature for this one, you can actually take this section off this section. So you can actually just like fill this bit here and get in there and clean it, which is much easier than some of the TWSBI ones. Yeah. As you can see, it's currently inked up and I enjoy just writing, drawing, whatever. I don't think it holds as much ink as a TWSBI though. I then decided to try these two Jinhaos. I think they're 82s. This one I just call, I don't even know what I call this one. It's like a green, it's just a green. But this one was called Macaron or Latte something. I don't know. It's nice, it looks nice. I think what I failed with is realistically, if you've already got a Sailor Pro Gear Slim, you don't really need these because these aren't like as well made as this. They're nice, like, so if you don't have the Sailor, just get these. So I still have them, I still do use them, but just not as much. This one currently has a random Duke nib in it. That's got a little bend to it. This nib's actually really good, but yeah, it's just kind of in there for the time being because I've taken its nib out of there. And then this one has a nice extra fine, which writes really well. Yeah, they are inexpensive. These ones are kind of good if you want to just grab and go and not have to worry if you lose it, but would I repurchase these? Probably not. Yeah, I don't really need these. I saw Kaigaloo and I wanted to give them a try. So we got this Kaigaloo 3, I think it's a 316 in blue black. I'm not exactly sure why I chose this colour because it's a bit of a meh colour. The nib that was on this is on a different pen now, but I put an extra fine Jowo flex nib on it, which is fun. But this pen, I don't really know what I'm doing with it, to be honest, because I'm kind of just, it's not a bad pen, it's just not anything to me. So, yeah. So this pen was not anything like what I had ordered except for the acrylic. So this acrylic is the colour I picked, but it's not the pen. And then the nib that came on this was just terrible. So I had that Duke nib on it for a little while, but then I didn't want it on there. So then I put this Hongjian nib on it. I don't know. Again, this one's a bit like that Kaigaloo one. I don't know if I really want to keep it. It's fine. It works as a pen, but I'm kind of indifferent to it. So I got this Oaso, I don't know. It's a knockoff looking Lamy pen. I only got it because of this bent nib. That's about it. That's all I can really say about it. Yeah. I went back to Hongjian. Got this beautiful brass 1861. It's so pretty. It has a long blade knife nib that was on the green one. I've now got that on this one and I absolutely love it on this one. Great pen as well. Like it just, the value for money, if you want to start a pen, is a little bit heavier because it's brass, but I'm okay with that because the quality is there. The only other Lorelei pen I have, this one was called Aurora. I don't know if that's right, but this acrylic is from Pen BBS. It's a really well mixed acrylic. You can see all the different shades. Again, it has, I don't know, this brand of nib that is really nice. And it has a little bit of a character to it. So enjoy using that pen. It's my Pen BBS 306, I think it's called, or something like that. But the name is called Silence because for the acrylic. However, it's older purple. There was meant to be some more blue in it. This is all purple. It's got a fine nib on it. This nib's just okay. Has a bit of an architect to it, but it's just okay. As a pen, it works. This is a very good example of you may not get the mix of acrylic that you want sometimes. So yeah, this pen it works as a pen, but I'm not particularly happy with how it's what I thought I was buying. Pen that I am really happy with what I was buying is this Live in You Niangao pen. Because again, this acrylic is showing both. It's a really nice mix. And it's such a subtle, easy one. This nib is also amazing. It's a soft extra fine and it has a little bit of a flick. Such a good pen to write with. Absolutely joy to write with this one. And I know it looks very similar to a Sailor, which it is very similar. I'm okay with that. It looks similar, it's taken inspiration from it, but it's still yet a very different pen. And I think there's 3 different colours you can get in this series. There's a black one and a white one as well. I am all for it. But this one's, yeah, if you can, get this finish because it's such a special finish. Then went back to Just Turnings and got another pen. This one's called Copper Rose because there's some good coppery bits in there and some green and some pinks. But as you can see, there's some gold paint going on. This poor little pen had a bit of an accident and actually broke. So where that gold paint is where it all cracked. I managed to glue it back together and thankfully the threads didn't break, so they were fine. But I was, silly mistake on my part. I was very upset about it, and now I actually like it better with this gold on it. It just makes it a bit special. I have a Bock extra fine nib on it, which is a lovely one to write, and also it's a rose gold nib, so it looks really nice with this pen. It was inked up, that's why there's a little bit of moisture on there. I just cleaned it out. I think I have a thing for like see-through acrylics with some colour. Because this Advine, I think it's a P50, is so pretty. It only comes in 4 colours at this stage, but I really like this translucent one. There is an ink window, and this medium nib is so juicy. In a good way though. And yeah, I just like how clear it is inside. You get a hint of the pen and the nib, but a joy to write with this pen. A Pilot Kakuno. It's okay. This one is in glazed blue. It's just the blue one. It's got a medium nib on it. Yeah. I can see why people like this as a beginner pen. It's nice for that. But I'm not too fussed. So back to Just Turnings again. I decided to get an abalone one this time. So it's got some pretty blues and pinks in it. And we have a Kaigaloo. So this is where the Kaigaloo nib is. This is a fine. Writes really nicely. Kaigaloo nibs are really nice nibs. I like them. These pens all kind of came with Jowo nibs, and to be honest, most of the Jowo nibs have actually swapped out. There's a few around, and they're okay, but I just find some of these other nibs are really nice to write with. So, yeah. This pen I kind of got because of the name, because it was funny. But also this pen is really unique. It's stacked acrylic. So this is Lemon Sandwich Cookie by Pen BBS. It is a vac filler. It had a Pen BBS nib on it, but I've now changed it to another lemon long blade knife nib, which will work really well, I think, with this pen. The Pen BBS nibs I'm a little bit indifferent to. They're okay, but a lot of them I found hit and miss with them. So we've changed across. I had the 1.1 stub nib in it, but it was too long and it kept hitting this top bit and then ink would leak out the cap. So that's why there's a little bit of stainage going on inside the cap. But what a pen. And when there's ink in here, it's so pretty. Another Hongdian, but this one's steel. And it has the little bent nib. I just find these joyful on how minimal they are, but how simple, but yeah, I like the metal feel. It just makes me happy. And that snap is glorious. So this one was a silly colour to get. This colour, Kaigaloo does some really good resins and acrylics. This one's Cherry Blossom look, the little chatoyance in there. So subtle and just very pretty. It's got rose gold trim. Problem with these ones is they take forever to uncap because there's too many turns. Rose gold nib, this is an extra fine nib. What a joy to write with. The nib is so smooth, yet there's a little bit of feedback. Yeah, so this is what I should have got at the start, not that other one. While the other one works, it's just a bit of a boring colour. Whereas this one, look at that, so pretty. I say so pretty a lot. Back to Pen BBS. This one surprised me. I really like these see-through acrylics with a bit of the colour in them. The swirls and the ribbons. It's very mellow, but like I've got a yellow ink in there at the moment. It's so pretty to see through it. This one, this nib's actually really nice. This Pen BBS nib on this one is very nice. And it's just got slightly different, it's got the pointed ends. But you can see how clear that is. Like it almost looks like glass. Very impressed with this one. This is cordite, I think it's called. I think that's a type of stone or rock. Very pretty. See, I said it again. Asvine. I got the VAC filler, so this is the V126 in the matte blue. It has a medium nib on it at the moment. It came with I think it came with the extra fine, but I like this medium nib on these more like bulkier pens. It just gives you more ink. Such a classy looking pen. Such a classy looking pen. If you can get your hands on this, it's great. And I know it's meant to be like, takes looks from another very expensive pen, but if it gives you a chance to try it out and see if you like it or not, why not? And if it's well made. I think this is my final Pen BBS pen. See, something about see-through resin and then a bit of colour. This one's a cracked resin with red in between it. It looks so cool. I think it's called Majulu Sword or Majul Sword. This nib also works really well. So this Pen BBS nib works. They're only in fine. It's very hard to find other types. But like, so pretty. This is the same model as that Silence pen. So same model as this one. But yeah, this one's, I like the resin on this. And the resin on this, you're going to get pretty much the same each time. Something like, it will be different areas, but it will be because of the type. It doesn't have that gradient. Another little Live in You pen. This one's called the Future pen. With, again, the Niangao acrylic. Very pretty. I got this one with a soft fine nib, which writes so nicely. These Live in You little pens are just a joy. Doesn't post very well, and it's only little, it's only a small pen. So cute. And very inexpensive. Another Kaigaloo one. I think they just call this one black, but I'm going to call this one Ash and Ember because I like how you got the yellow and orange ribbon, and then this black, it's not, there's some like chatoyance in it. So it reminds me of like fire and smoke, that kind of thing. We have a fine Asvine nib on it currently, because I've got a few of them, which writes really nicely. This one came with like a long blade knife nib. I think it was one of those lemon nibs, but I can't remember which one was in this pen. Another Just Turnings. This one's a diamond cast one, so there's some sparkle in it. This one's called a Rhyme. It's like, it reminds me of a night sky. It's got a broad Yovo nib on it. So this is one of the few Yovo nibs that I've still got on a pen, which writes really nicely. Really nicely. This one is called Subtle Blue. It's from Just Turnings as well. And I put the Mr. Cypress Fine nib on it, which I actually enjoy in this pen. I didn't enjoy it in the other pen it came on for some reason. I don't know why. But this one's like a day sky. So I've kind of got, there's some dogs barking. I've got the night sky and I've got the day sky. Very pretty. Yeah. Just turning it again. This one was called a subscription box surprise in purple and green. She's purple, she's green. There is just so much going on. It's great. I have a 1.5 stub nib on this one because I actually have an ink color that matches this pen, surprisingly, and it needs that bigger nib to really show off its qualities. So I went back to Lamy and I got myself a 2000 for a great price. And it is slightly different because it's got the double broad. But gosh, this writes well. I mean, if I wanted to get another, I can get another nib and change it out, but I am so happy I got it with the double broad. It's so much fun to write with. And it is a weird feeling. It feels different to all the other pens. Another little future pen. This one again is showing not the greatest mix of colour. Not terrible, but it's better than that silent pen, but it's still not probably as much of this blue as I would have liked. I got this one with another soft extra fine. And yeah, they're just cute little pens. They remind me of the, where is it? This one. They're like a smaller version of the Benu Briolette and smooth. They don't have the diamond cut bits. My last Just Turnings pen. This is an Overpour. And I fell in love with the fact of this pink bit. And even though it's not, like you can see the machining, I like that. I like the fact you can see the machining in there. And there's like glittery blue bits, there's grey bits. It's very interesting. This one, I have a medium Mr. Cypress nib on it and it works so well. I really like the Mr. Cypress nib on this pen. Admok. This one is very clearly a takeoff of another pen. However, I really bought this pen for that Schmidt broad nib, so I could put it on the Earl Grey, and I've put the fine on this one, and it works well. This resin is very pretty aqua blue too. Again, it's my camera's not doing it justice. And like I was saying with these ones, if you want to try it out and see whether that pen, the more expensive version, would be similar fitted to you, you can see, like this one's meant to be similar to an M800. I don't mind my 600. I don't think I need an 800 unless it comes in a interesting resin. So I'm happy with this one. This little guy. I fell in love with the green one, and when they released this blue one, I was like, I need that in my life. So the Lilliput Aluminum Blue. Got it with a broad nib. It's wet because I just cleaned it. And I've just ordered an ink to go with this pen. Because I had a sample that was in here and I've run out of that sample and now I'm sad. But happy I have this pen. Sailor Pro Gear. This is a European exclusive, I think, called Aurora Borealis. For whatever reason, my phone does not want to do this colour justice. It's much more vibrant, much more greeny, tealy, like this is more of a lime, lemony green. So pretty though. And like some of the other Sailor Pro Gears I've looked at, I kind of wanted them, but none really spoke to me as something different, whereas this one did. And I wanted to try this beautiful 21 karat nib, which is a joy to write. The other happy thing with this one is I have a ink color. Oops. Oh yeah. I have an ink color that didn't really go in any pen. Every time I used it in other pens, I got annoyed with it. I put it in this pen and it is fantastic. They are a match made in heaven. So it will stay with that ink color until it runs out, basically. And then I'll probably have to get some more. So I liked the Enzo Bolt in titanium so much that when I saw they were releasing it in brass, I had to get it. As you know, I like my metal pens. So I got this one with a fine nib just for something different. It is just a joy to hold. It is a bit heavier than the other one, which I like. I did muck around, which you saw beforehand when I said don't worry about it too much. I'm just trying to find where I put my other one. I've changed, so this is the titanium bolt and the titanium top. Then the brass top and the brass bolt is on the other pen, and I like it. I did get this one with the clip, but I put it on and I was kind of like, ew, no. So I do have the clip, it's just sitting kind of off to the side, but I'm not really that interested in using it with the clip. Waterman, CF again. This is in the Morali, something finish. Really, really interesting finish. I don't know if I can get you close enough to really, it's kind of textured. Another vintage pen, but it's still got that beautiful 18 karat nib. This one is a fine nib, and it is probably holding up better than the first one I got, the barleycorn one. The plus side to this one, and the seller was very good too, they supplied cartridges, which I've just refilled. Most of the cartridges were dry, but I've just refilled them with some ink. But I can now get rid of my Frankenstein cartridge. And it writes so well. It also came with a ballpoint pen, but I have had to order the actual cartridges for them because they're hard to find too. Another Waterman CF. So I kind of got these all in a set. This one is called the Fine Line. So it's got the fine. This one came with a 18 karat nib, but it's a gorgeous broad nib. And I feel like there is, I don't think it's italic or anything, but it writes so interestingly. Again, we got a cartridge. I'm so happy I've found cartridges. So the lady that sold these pens was kind enough to throw in some extra ones, which I am so grateful for because it means I can really enjoy these pens because their nibs are just to die for. So lovely. Last pen in my collection, the Parker 45 in the Harlequin Shield. Really interesting finish. Again, it's that like engraving. It's a metal pen. You know I like my metal pens. That engraving is really nice. The nib is unique too. This is my first kind of hooded nib. But it is a gold nib, and this one is a medium nib. It writes lovely. Absolutely lovely. Downside. This is just me. It's very silent. There's no joyous click, which other people probably really like, but I like a click. So, yeah. Well, I hope you enjoyed that video. That's all my pens, and I'll see you next time.